Hi, and thanks for logging on to the Daily DVAR Halacha. And here's a brand new halacha for you, and it's for Tuesday, 22nd day of November, 21st day of Cheshvan. Here we go. We're starting a unit on a lot of laws that have to do with salt, believe it or not. You'll see what I mean as we go along. Here goes. First of all, at the table, when you're about to have bread, you know that we like to dip our bread in salt. That's what we do in this religion. So you are not supposed to cut the bread until the salt is already at the table. Because if you're going to cut the bread and then say, and start looking around for the salt, you're going to have a pause between the bracha and the eating of the bread. So have the salt ready. You should not say the hamotzi also until the salt is ready at the table. Also, you'll see this at Shabbos tables. When we have the salt on the table, we dip the challah inside of the salt, and Kabbalistically speaking, it's a good idea to dip the bread in the salt 3 times. That's Kabbalistic, it's mystical. We don't fully understand why, but it's just a good idea, and that's the good custom to follow. Dip your bread 3 times in the salt. The Kaf HaChaim says a fascinating explanation. It's going to sound also mystical, but here goes. The word lechem and also the word melach, same letters in them, just moved around, they have a numerical value of 78 because the lamed is a 30, the ches is an 8, and the mem is a 40, adding up to 78. Well, God's name, the one that's spelled with yud, dash, hey, dash, vav, dash, hey. I said them with dashes because you're not supposed to say God's name spelled out like that. Well, anyway, if you add up the numerical value of God's name, it's 26. 3 times 26 is 78. So when you dip this 3 times, it's like you're getting the 3-time value of God's name represented in the salt, the melach, and the lechem, and the bread. And so you're doing something about God's name being mentioned 3 times. That's all mystical, doesn't fully make sense in logic. Okay, there are some who sprinkle the salt onto the table first, because if the salt is sprinkled onto the table first, then again you avoid any delay. So you take the salt, you sprinkle it on the table, go make your hamotzi, you come back and the salt is already there, ready to be sprinkled. That's the best way to do it. Also, the Kaf HaChaim says that it's a good idea for the ladies to bring the salt to the table in order to atone for Iris, that was the wife of Lot. Remember, she's the one who turned back at looking at the city of Sodom and turned into a pillar of salt. And in this week's Torah portion, by the way, she turned into a pillar of salt, and she also was guilty of not having brought salt to the table for guests. So when ladies bring the salt to the table now, the Kaf HaChaim says that they are helping to atone for that problem. Now, Rav Belsky says that if you don't have any salt to dip your bread into, you can dip them into a salty food. Like if there were some salted pretzels there or something like that, you could just touch them to the salty pretzels or something like that. That's what Rav Belsky was known to have said. That's if you can't manage to have salt at your table to dip into. Thanks for logging on, and log on again tomorrow for more. Bye-bye.